It's called Pencil Charger. It's free to download down below in the description. So the next tweak I have for you guys is called Lock Glyph. Basically what it does, if you lock your device, you're going to get this little symbol over here. It's like a fingerprint. So basically if you touch it, it scans your finger and it just unlocks like that. Obviously you have got to click it just because, as you can see, it does unlock, but that's what it does. Basically if you touch it slightly, it gives this little animation. If you get the password code wrong, it vibrates and then it just unlocks. So there is settings for this. However, settings doesn't seem to be working, so don't be commenting down below if there's any issues with this. Okay, so the next tweak I have for guys is called Spring Plus. Basically what it does is it allows you to like customize pretty much everything. Go into like lock screen settings, disable wake for power connected, press like you can hide certain things, hide page dots, disable camera. You can do so many things over here. You can go to Springboard as well. Status bar, all these good stuff guys, app switcher system. I'm not going to go through all of them, but basically guys, you can mess about with this and change your device as much as you want. So this is called Spring Plus. It's going to be linked down below in the description as to every other tweak. Okay guys, so the next tweak is called borders. Basically what it does, it having from like a big annoying folder, it just changes it to something nice. As you can see, it kind of removes everything and puts it in one big loop of like blur. So I really like this. As you can see, same in here. There's an issue with this because it kind of says apps right in the left corner top when it should be like below the folders. It's strange, but it does work guys. So it does look kind of cool though. It gives a nice little look to your iPhone device. So for the next week, I feel like this is very like simple, but I just love it so much. Basically what happens if you like swipe on your status bar, it just removes it completely. So as you can see, it's gone, and then just get it back up if you want a time, and then just swipe it back to the right, and it's over here. So of course there's settings about it. So you go to swipe to hide. You can swipe to hide the dock and status bar. So you must enable it before this works because it just won't work. I tried to get this working, but it wouldn't work for me. But anyways, right. So the next tweak is called Artsy. So basically what it does, if you play on Spotify or like any music basically, and then let's just choose a song. We'll do this one. As you can see, I'm going to move this real quick before I get copyrighted. Basically what it does, it picks out the album picture and it puts it over here. Also, if you do lock your device, it should change your wallpaper to that certain song. So let's go back up and change the song. So as you can see guys, the album picture is right there, and if I do lock my device, it changes everything. So I really like this tweak. It's really cool. You can pause it, and as you can see, it just looks really cool. Obviously this will get fixed later on, but that's really cool. So of course the next tweak is called 5 column. As you can see, it does look a bit odd because I'm not used to it, and I'm pretty sure you're not. Basically what it does, instead of having like 4 icons on each row, it basically gives you 5. So it just kind of makes your iPhone look more full in a way. So if you go over to this one, if I can add certain more applications on one page instead of having to move over to the other one. And if you have lots of applications, you can fit them all in one page. So as you can see, there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and it works really cool. So if I wanted to, I can get Spotify and drag it all the way to here and then fill it up. So this is called a 5 column. And the next tweak, basically I'm going to go and jump in at the same time, it's called Bounce. Basically what Bounce does, when you open an app, it gives us nice big bounce. As you can see, if you close it, open it up, my Twitter, bounce, and it's like...
The first one is one called cydia, and if we go on to Cydia, you'll see Cydia gives us this new kind of interface for the actual Cydia page itself. And as you can see here, I think it looks really nice. This actually still works with tweak compatible as well. As you can see, you've got that kind of those icons actually within the icon on the side there. Gives you all the information you need, and I think overall just looks really, really nice. So that one is called Cydia. The next one is one called Fluid Tabs, and as you'll see at the bottom of our Cydia page here, it's kind of taking away all of the text and just giving us the icons. So that's the same for any application. So if we go on to, say, the App Store, it's the same thing on here as well. And this kind of goes hand in hand with the next one, which is one called Fluid Tabs. So what this allows you to do is actually just swipe left and right here, and that allows you to skip between the tabs, as you can see. Obviously, sometimes it will kind of interfere with some of the other gestures. But if we go back over onto Cydia, you'll see here, we can swipe between pages and things. So I think that's a couple of really nice tweaks there. So Fluid Tabs and Clean Tabs 13 as well. So the next one is one called 3D Clear Badge. So if we go onto a particular application here where we've got a notification, so I'll just go over to say this one here. If we do our force touch here, you'll see that we have the option of clearing the badge now from the pop-up that we get. So we can go ahead and clear the badge. So you'll see I've got some tweaks kind of with animations on there. So if you have obviously the standard little badge, that'll get rid of it through that little tweak there. So that one is called 3D Clear Badge. Now the next one is one called Lock Droid, and this is one of my favourite tweaks that I've been using for a number of years, and it's now updated for the uncovered jailbreak. So what we'll do is we'll go on to our lock screen here. You'll see this does obviously still work with Face ID. So when it doesn't recognise Face ID, rather than having to actually type in your passcode, you'll see that you can then just draw your passcode with Lock Droid, and that essentially gives you that Android draw style passcode. So of course you can create any passcode you like with Lock Droid, and that will enable you to quickly get into your device without needing the passcode. So that's definitely well worth checking out. So next up we've got a tweak called AV Lock. Now if we go over onto our standard kind of player here, so we'll just go and watch one of my videos on Safari. You'll see in the standard player here we now have the rotation lock actually built into the player. So of course if you're watching a video like this and you want to make it landscape, then going into here just to kind of turn this on and off just makes that really simple rather than having to go into your control center. So that's well worth downloading. I think that should kind of be a stock iOS feature anyway, to be honest. So sound. And this is a brilliant volume HUD replacement, and I think this one was much more popular before iOS 13, when obviously we saw a nice volume HUD redesign. However, if we go use ultrasound here, you'll see this is what it looks like. So we do have the percentage on the bottom there, and overall just a redesign of the volume HUD, which I think looks pretty nice. So the next tweak is one called Axon. So if we go over onto our lock screen, you'll see we have all of our applications here kind of categorized in different folders, so everything looks kind of neat and tidy. So there are some other similar tweaks that do similar things here, but you'll see if we go ahead and click on it, we can then view what the actual notifications are. And I think overall it just gives us that real kind of nice simple lock screen feel. It keeps it all very minimal, which is really nice. So the next lock screen tweak we've got is one called Jumper. So rather than having our camera and flashlight here, we've actually got some customizations. So I can hold down on this, and we've got a few different options here. So this is fully customizable. I've got this set to airplane mode, orientation lock, and do not disturb. And then on the other side here we've got applications, so you can choose any application. So if you wanted to say launch settings, it will launch you straight into settings there. And of course with the actual settings menu here for Jumper, you can easily go in and change what it is you want. So you can have either one shortcut or multiple shortcuts on the left and the right here, and just choose whatever it is that you want. So if we go and add a fourth one here, you can see you've got all of the system kind of things, and then you've got all the applications on your device there as well. So tons of customization for that particular tweak. That one is called Jumper. So next up we've got a tweak called Cylinder. So I'm sure you've heard of this one unless you've been living under a rock over the last few years with the jailbreak history here. So of course Cylinder gives us these cool animations when we're swiping between pages. When we go into Cylinder, there's of course tons of different customizations that we can do here. There's all these different options for you. So what's really nice is that you don't have to respring here. You can easily just swipe and apply the new one and then see what it actually looks like. So Cylinder is one of those must-have tweaks I'm sure everyone has on their device. So the next one is one called Oriental. Now this is a brilliant tweak that I really like. So if we go on to our notes here, any application with our orientation lock turned off, if we then go ahead and rotate the device, you'll see that we get that little portrait lock button appear in the corner there. So it disappears after a while. So you'll see it appears in the bottom. We can tap it to quickly enable the orientation lock without having to actually go onto our control center. And of course we can just disable it from control center. So if if you rotate your device and you didn't mean to, if you're like laying in bed or something, then of course that's a way of just quickly enabling it without having to go into your control center, which I think is really nice. So the next tweak is one called Tweak Count 2. So if we go into our Cydia here on our actual installed page, you'll see we now have a count of all packages on our device here. So of course that's going to be all of the packages on the device, so not only just what you've installed but all of the kind of the core utilities and everything as well. So that'll be kind of everything mixed together. So as you can see at the moment I've got 75. Let me know down in the comments below how many you've got on your device right now. I tend to obviously download a lot for these videos, but then I normally remove most of them and try and keep it kind of minimal. So I'll be interested to see how many packages you've got on your device right now. So the next tweak is one called Firefly X. So we spoke earlier on about the animations we had on the icons here. So the glowing kind of colors around instead of the notifications is one called Firefly X. And what I really like about this tweak is that there's a lot of customizations you can do. So you've got animations, you've got the glows, you can obviously change all the colors and things here. You can do various different things with the tweak itself. So real nice one to check out. I think it gives your device a really nice look there. And then last but not least, we've got one called Ali's status bar. And that's how we've got our different kind of status bar at the top here. So of course we've got a theme on the Wi-Fi and also the signal strength here. So it took me a little while to work out how to do this. What you'll need to do is of course have Snowboard installed. But when you have Snowboard installed, you'll also need to download Snowboard preset extensions here. Once you've done that and then you download the tweak Ali's status bar, it will actually then apply it, and of course it will go ahead and work. So make sure you have Snowboard installed and also Snowboard preset extensions, and that should work absolutely fine. So thank you guys for making it to the end of the video. If you did, make sure you do give this video a big thumbs up. These do take
when you're actually using it inside of an application and not just inside of these settings here, but it's cool that you can change all those settings as well. Now, one thing you may have also noticed throughout this video is that I do not have the home button gesture, the home bar down here at the bottom. And that's thanks to a tweak called Saw. And if you actually go into any application here, you will see that there's a lot more room at the bottom of the page, or there's a lot less wasted space, I should say, at the bottom. And that's thanks to Saw. That will eliminate that empty space and also get rid of that home bar, so you can see a lot more on the screen. You can really tell in Safari and then also in the App Store. If you look at the bottom right here, you can see there's a lot less wasted space, a lot less empty white space than there was before. So you can see a little bit more on the screen here, which I think is really nice. So Saw, very underrated tweak that I really, really like. Next up is a very simple tweak called Half, and this gives you the battery percentage and the battery indicator up in the status bar. So if you take a look inside the battery there, you can see it shows 82%, and that is my battery, since of course with Face ID devices, you can't see the percentage unless you pull down on the status bar, but now this gives you that percentage inside the battery icon, so you don't ever need to do that, which is nice. The next tweak is another really funny vanity tweak that doesn't really add anything to your device, but just adds a little bit of sense of humor to it. And that's a tweak called Stonks. And basically all it does is changes the word stocks to stonks. It's kind of just like a meme, and I think it's pretty funny because it changes that system-wide. Everywhere where stocks would appear on your device, it now says stonks instead. So that's just pretty funny. I thought I'd add it in there. The next tweak is an oldie but a goodie called Dismiss Progress. So this is going to allow you to just close out of when you install a tweak and you normally are forced to restart Springboard or whatever it may be. You can now just click close and you won't have to respring every time you install a tweak, which is really nice. And while we're in Cydia, I do also want to mention the next tweak called Swipe for More. And this allows you to swipe on packages to perform certain actions. So you can see we have download right there, queue. We also have, I think this is upgrade right here. Yeah, so upgrade or downgrade right there. So you have these different options just by swiping over. So nice little gesture actions added into Cydia thanks to Swipe for More. The next tweak is called Real CC, and this allows you to disable Wi-Fi and Bluetooth straight from the control center. So you guys know in iOS 13, if you tap on it, it just disables it for the next 24 hours. But as you can see there, when you disable it with Real CC, it does not show that little gray icon. It completely disables anything that you tap to disable here in the control center. The next tweak is called Snowboard, and that is the theming platform I'm using right here to have this theme. So you can see all my icons are changed and I have a really clean look right here. That's thanks to the theming platform Snowboard. If you go into settings right here, you can see right here my theme that I'm using right now is the Viola Glyphs theme. Of course, I will have all these things linked down in the description below as well. You can see here you do also have options for the icons if you want to. And actually, if you go over here and 3D press on an icon and then go to edit home screen and then double tap on the icon, you do also have alternative icons, and you can do this for any theme right here. So you could change the icons to something that may be a little bit more fitting to your background or whatever the case may be. But Snowboard, definitely a must so you can have custom themes on your jailbroken device. Still probably one of the biggest reasons to jailbreak in 2020. Now the next few tweaks are going to be very boring tweaks, but tweaks that you absolutely need to have on your device. And that's going to be Fileza, which is a file manager that's going to allow you to customize and edit files inside of the file system. Then we have mTerminal, which is just a terminal for your iOS device, and then iCleaner Pro, which is going to allow you to clean up junk files and also disable tweaks on the fly. So if you go to the plus right here, then Cydia Substrate add-ons, you can disable certain tweaks, and this is great for troubleshooting. I've talked about this a lot in the past, and basically you just absolutely need all three of these tweaks in case something goes wrong with your device. These are going to be essential to solving your issue. So even if nothing I said makes any sense to you, make sure you install all three of these last three tweaks that I mentioned, because they will absolutely save you if something were to go wrong. Now next up is another one of my all-time favorite tweaks, and that is Preference Organizer 2. And this basically just makes your settings much cleaner. So once you start installing a lot of tweaks, you're going to notice that you have a lot of different sections for your tweak settings, and it looks really clunky when you have to keep scrolling down in your settings. But with Preference Organizer 2, if you scroll down, you can see you just have a very simple three little menus right here: System Apps, Tweaks, and App Store Apps. And inside of the tweaks is where you just have all of your tweaks listed. So this is a very, very handy tweak that is going to clean up your settings a lot. So you can see here, you can have it, and you can actually change the name of the sections if you want to as well. Still one of my favorite tweaks just for OCD's sake for me, because it makes the settings just a lot cleaner. The next tweak is called Choicey, and this allows you to launch applications with specific settings. So you can see right here, for instance, you can launch a tweak. Like, this is really going to be coming in handy for people with like banking applications or something that has jailbreak detection. You can launch these applications with certain settings right here. So if you go to something like global tweak configuration, you can see you can allow blacklist overwrites and whitelist overwrites right here. If we go to something like applications, and then let's just say, I don't know, Call of Duty, you can see right here, you can disable tweak injection, or you can have custom tweak configuration here for custom settings, as you can see right here. So it's just a really good amount of options you can configure with this. So this is going to come in handy for a certain select few people who need to have, jailbreak detection bypass for certain applications. The next tweak is called Tweak Restrictor, and this is kind of just an alternative to Choicey. This is going to disable Substrate inside of certain applications, once again, to bypass jailbreak detection for like your banking applications, for PayPal, for Snapchat, whatever it may be. So this one's a lot simpler to use. Just go into select applications, and you can go ahead and disable tweak injection for whatever application you want. So very useful for certain people. And the next tweak is another very essential tweak called AppSync Unified. So this is going to allow you to essentially install applications without a computer. So you won't need to sideload applications or plug your phone up to your computer anymore with this tweak. You can basically just download IPAs and run applications with AppSync. So another must-have. If you know, you know. If not, I will have more of a description of what it's like down in the description below. It's not only for piracy, you can use it for a lot of different situations, and I highly recommend you install it. The next tweak is called No 3D Lines. If you go ahead and 3D press or haptic press, you can see right here, I don't have any of the lines in between these options right here, and it looks a lot cleaner. The whole menu just looks a lot cleaner thanks to no 3D lines. The next tweak is called color badges, and this matches the notification badge with the dominant color of that application. So take a look at the mail down here. You can see the badge for the amount of unread emails is that light blue color, which matches the icon, and it looks really, really nice. This is another really old tweak that most people absolutely love, and it's one of the first tweaks they install on their device, myself included. Now the next tweak is a similar one called color banner. So this allows you to have the banners customized by the dominant color here in your notification center, and all your notifications will be colorized based on the dominant color of that application. So it looks really nice. You can see right here, Reddit, mail, we have music and screen time, all different colors. It looks really cool, very, custom, like you're definitely on a jailbroken device when you have these color banners right here. And once again, that's called Color Banners 3. The next tweak is called Auto Unlock X, and this is another one of my favorites. This allows you to unlock your phone really fast if you want to. So take a look at this. So if I go ahead and lock and then go up to Face ID, I don't have to swipe up to unlock my device. It unlocks it very fast like that. Now, I do also have an option if I tap on the screen and do it, it does not bypass the swiping up. So watch this. If I go ahead and tap on the screen and then put it on my face, you can see here, it does not bypass the swipe up. That's because I have the option set for that. But if I lock it and then unlock it and I don't tap the screen, you can see right there, it does bypass the swipe up gesture that you normally need to do to get into your device. And you can actually set this up in settings. So if we go to our settings right here and then go to Auto Unlock X, you can see here you have all these different options. So you have disable if notifications, so it will not auto unlock if you have notifications, same with music playing, same with flashlight. Then we have tap to block auto unlock. That's what I have right there, just because sometimes I don't always want it unlocking right away. So you can also see you have enable auto retry. You also have enable delay before unlock. So there's a lot of different settings in here to make it not so fast, and sometimes it could get annoying when it unlocks so fast. So it's nice to have all these options that you can change to your liking. The next tweak is called jellyfish, and that's what you see right here on the lock screen. That clock right there and the weather, everything right there being in the top right, everything to do with that is thanks to the tweak jellyfish. So that's not a theme. That is just this tweak. So if you go into the settings right here for it, you can see you can configure the weather, the time, the alignment, the thickness of the text. You can see the text size. You can override the dynamic color. You have all these different things you can change right here. And it looks really, really clean. You can also see it right here in the notification center. It's right there in the top right, looking really, really clean. The next tweak is called Safari Plus, and this allows you to have a lot of custom options added to Safari. So in the past, this would add things like a download manager, but obviously in iOS 13 we have a download manager now, but it enhances a lot of things inside of Safari. Like you can see the number of tabs I have open right there without having to actually click on or anything. It shows the amount of tabs I have there. If we go into the settings here for Safari Plus, you can see there are a ton of different options right here. So we have privacy, uploads and downloads, usability, actions, gestures, customization. So if we go to something like uploads and downloads, you can see right here we have upload any file. So you can upload files that Apple does not allow you to. Privacy, you can force HTTPS. Locked tabs, you can lock tabs, you can use biometrics. You have show tab count, you have full screen scrolling, you have lock bar, show full URL, force native player. You have all these different options, just a ton of things in here. And it's a free tweak. I highly, highly recommend it if you use Safari at all on your device. The next tweak is called Boxy 4, and this is kind of an alternative to the very first tweak I showed you that allows you to have a custom layout on your home screen. Now this one is paid, whereas Home Plus, the beta right here, is actually free. But Boxy 4 is a great alternative, and Boxy is a tweak that I've used for many years now. So I just wanted to mention this in here as an alternative to the first tweak I showed you, Home Plus. Now this whole time you've been watching the video, you may have been wondering why I did not hide the homepage dots right here, and that's because of the next tweak called Awesome Page Dots. So take a look when I switch pages. You can see that little animation right there. I think that's really cool. I think that's really clean looking, and I actually really like that look. So that's the main reason I did not hide my page dots here on my iPhone. So if you go into settings right here, you can see you have all these different options for animations for those page dots. So if I go to like shuffle, if we go back, take a look at that. That's pretty cool down there. Those little dots moving like that. We can do like fade. So it's just like a fade in and a fade out. Nothing really going on there. But if we go to follow, this is another one of my favorites right there. It's very similar to the first one, but there's just a lot of little animations you can do just to add a little spice to your home screen. So the next tweak is another
So I'm sure everyone was waiting for me to demo this tweak. It is called Prism, and basically it replaces the iOS control center, and it gives it a more modern, even iOS 14-esque feel. And it's pretty sweet. It still is in beta, so I'll show you guys an alternative to this in just a second. Well, another tweak you guys probably already know of is called Mobile Goose. And this one's pretty sweet, just adds this little guy. He kind of runs around, pulls up some GIFs for you. But then we have Mobile Goose module, so you can actually toggle him on and off. So there's one of those GIFs that he pulls up and you actually have to tap it away. So he can get kind of annoying, so you can just toggle him off or show him off to your friends just like that. And the really cool thing is you can add mods to this tweak. So if I go down and select Mobile Goose, one right above that, go into mods, you can give them a name tag. So go ahead and pull this guy back up. See, now he has a name tag, ICUID. So he'll just run around with that right below him. Anyhow, cool little tweaks there, nothing too crazy. Well, if Prism was just a little bit too buggy as it's still in beta, not to fear, we have some classic control center tweaks. We have better CCXI to give you this awesome connectivity platter as well as music platter. Right below this, we have power modules so you can quickly respring and enter safe mode, perform a few other actions. We have rounded CC to basically give a rounded look to all of your control center toggles right there. We have Magma Evo to set custom colors for these sliders and buttons. Super cool tweaks. Lastly, almost forgot, we have Sugarcane to give you the actual percentages of your volume and your brightness right there. A couple ways to organize apps. We have Zenith to actually hide applications or group them underneath other applications. So I have all my social media together. And another sweet one is called Manila. You can actually open up other applications in your folder just by holding and pressing on that folder. Another sweet one is called Screenshot Actions. If I go ahead and take a screenshot and hold on the screenshot, we get this awesome little menu right there. We can just go ahead and copy and delete, and now it's copied to our clipboard. We also have a bunch of other options. Anyhow, guys, that one's Screenshot Actions. So I know we have battery percentage X and battery percent 12, but now we have yet another one called Digital Battery 13. Does the exact same thing, but it's way less buggy. And on the other side of my status bar, we have this tweak called Runaway. Right below your time actually shows your connection speed or your transfer speed. And I'm not sure why mine's at 0 right now, but it does actually work when you're downloading an app. You can see how good your internet connection is. So moving on to some jailbreak utility tweaks, we have Safe Shutdown. Essentially, you can perform some quick actions in the actual physical application, but essentially what this tweak does is when your battery gets really low, say about 5%, it'll actually basically kind of fake shut down your device. Your screen will go blank and you can't actually press the power or home button to wake your device. It will just show a black screen and it will remain that way until you plug your device in. Now the cool part about this is that last 5% of battery will last a couple of hours. And when you plug your device in, your device is still in its jailbroken state. So you don't actually have to re-enable the jailbreak. Anyhow, that one's called Safe Shutdown. If you guys want your YouTube videos to remain playing in the background, Circube is the tweak for you. As you guys can see, it's still playing. And shout out to MBKHD on the new studio. So if I go into the Messages application, we have BioProtect XS, and essentially this uses Face ID to lock applications, and when your face is recognized, then it will open up. Right here we have iMessage gradients. You can set custom gradient colors for your messages. Send delay is also working, so you have a couple seconds to cancel sending the text message. And down at the very bottom, we have Barmoji 13. Yes, Barmoji has been updated for iOS 13 on A13 devices. And the cool thing about the keyboard here is, as you guys can see, I'm in light mode. Or say if I go into Cydia that doesn't actually have a dark mode and I go ahead and pull up the keyboard, there's still the dark keyboard, and this is done with dark keys. Now, last keyboard tweak that I can think of is when I'm actually pressing the keyboard now, I have haptic feedback, and that's done with real keys. And this tweak is entirely free. Super awesome tweak right there to add some haptic feedback. And while we're talking about haptic feedback, we have this tweak called Vol Vibes. You can actually change the step, like how many clicks it takes to turn up and down the volume, but there's also haptic feedback with every press. And same, we have Mute Vibes. You can also change the haptic feedback sensitivity when you mute and unmute your device. So didn't really know where to fit this one in, but Small Surrey still works awesome. Still has the UI glitch, but it's much better than the full screen Surrey interface. I still love this one. I'm going to include it in quite a few videos so people can see it. Adaptive dark mode, if I enter, say, do not disturb, dark mode is automatically toggled on. Same if I turn my brightness down super low, dark mode's on, and when I turn it back up, then I'm in light mode. Anyhow, that one's called Adaptive Dark Mode. Super awesome tweak, and you can customize it a ton. So a really cool one is called Sequel Pro. If you guys have AirPods Pro, there's a bunch of things you can customize here. My favorite part about this tweak, however, is when you guys are listening to music, you can have noise cancellation enabled, and when you pause your music, it can automatically turn on transparency mode when your music's paused. So super cool tweak, but again, you can customize what double tapping and triple tapping your AirPods do as well, kind of like the original tweak, but now for the AirPods Pro. If you guys like OLED notifications, my favorite is dots. When you have a new notification, it shows this little dot right here. And as you guys can see from that, I have a new Twitter notification. So again, that one's called dots. Super cool tweak. Furthermore, I use Snowboard for my icon theming, and right now, look how many tweaks I have installed, guys. This is just nuts, honestly. If I go to Snowboard, go to Select Theme, I'm using Goji. And the really cool thing about this theme is it also has a dark mode theme. So all of the icons also have a dark alternative appearance. I really like this theme a lot, guys. Let me know what you think of it down below. And then, of course, in the background, we have Zen HTML to enable widgets, and this widget right here that has this interesting appearance is called Fluid Widget. So I've talked about that before in a lot of my videos, but I still like the look of it. It's pretty sweet. Anyhow, very lastly in this video, one tweak that I wanted to mention is called Repo Finder. If you guys are looking for new repos or just new sources to add to Cydia to find more tweaks, well, Repo Finder is the tweak for you to get that information from. Has all of the repos that could possibly be out there. It's a pretty sweet resource to have when you guys are new to jailbreaking. Anyway, that one's called Repo Finder. So as a bonus tweak, guys, we have dark papers. So look how many awesome wallpapers there are that have both a light mode and a dark mode variant. You have Catalina wallpapers. I know there's Mojave somewhere down here, right here. Probably my favorite is the Stranger Things one. If I go ahead and set both, check this out. When I go to my wallpaper, if I go ahead and enable dark mode, now it's in